Hello and welcome to this blue sky reading. This is for the week of July 7th of 2019. And for those who don't know, I do also offer custom readings for people. So I do card readings and I do astrology readings. And I also do in-person sessions called the Blue Sky Experience. So if you want to check any of those out, there's lots of options which are very reasonable, and then some that are more in depth that are longer readings. You can check all those out at bluesky-shop.com, SHOPPE. Okay, so for this week, July 7th, there's something notable happening in the sky this week. And that is that the sun, which is our masculine energy, it's our vitality and kind of how we bring ourselves into life and our passion and think about drive forward, getting up and getting momentum going. That energy is meeting the north node of the moon. And the transiting north node of the moon has to do with our path. It has to do with where we're headed. And so this is pretty important. This gives us a strong indication this week of where on our path, like something is a sign or a signal or an event or a feeling. That's especially important because this is happening in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer has to do with this deepest, to me it is the most intuitive of all the signs in the zodiac. And we're able to feel into a deeper level of something. And in that way, really begin to embody how we emotionally feel about something. We're able to bring that forward and bring some action to it, which is what the sun does. We're able to exude it out there and for people to know this part of who we are. And so it's kind of an emotional gem of sorts. And you can trust that it is right and just and meaningful for your path. That's what the North Node is about. It kind of leads us along, and no matter how jagged or smooth and straight your path has been, the North Node will always kind of lead you to that next step. And when the sun is meeting up with the North Node like this, it's really meaningful in that it's going to start to take form in your life, because that's what the sun does. It's actual manifestation of things happening, and you truly feeling like we can have feelings that are deep down and we keep them stuffed down there. And this is now an emotional way of being that's such a part of you that it comes up and out and it's exuded out there. Okay? Now, the symbol of where these two are going to be meeting in the sky is at Cancer 18. And this Sabian symbol reads as follows, and I love this because it's one of mine in my chart. A hen scratching the ground to find nourishment for her progeny. So whatever this is that's going to be arising this week as a very strong signal for you, it's going to be something that you are scratching up that brings you more nourishment. And that could be in the form, and when I say nourishment, again, remember, we're talking the emotional here. This is Cancer season, okay, that we're in. And this nourishment is a real sense of, sure, you could manifest more money. That could end up being a part of your experience. But the undercurrent is there's a sense of greater emotional stability and not quite so many peaks and valleys. And so whatever the nourishment is, it brings a sense of being cared for, of having more than enough to maintain yourself and your life and the people around you. I do feel that this directly involves your family, or anyone who is very tight with you, whoever you would call your progeny. And they may not be people that are even physically close for some of you, because remember again, Cancer is deeply intuitive. For some of you, you could have intuitive gifts opening up big time at this moment. It could be a moment of, receiving a very strong signal from a loved one that's passed on, or your higher self, that sort of wiser part of who you are that can see the broader picture, that part of you gives you a really strong signal. There's no mistaking it, that this is the way you should go. It's as if you're being taken by the hand when we're talking about the North Node, and you're being led. You're literally being walked down the path. But I feel strong momentum that something is happening this week. So, very key week. Really tune in this week to how you're feeling as you get into situations, or you meet new people, or you feel a calling to go and do something that makes you feel a certain way, like sometimes you just want to get really bubbly and be with others, or you want to get really, Cancer can be both. It can also be very withdrawn. That's why I haven't put some videos up for a while, because I've just been in a sort of really taking in the Cancerian season that we're in and taking some time. So it could mean that your action that nourishes you is actually pulling back and having some time for yourself and some time to get re-centered on your goals and your focus moving forward, all to bring a greater sense of nourishment for yourself and for perhaps a broader group of people who are associated with you. This could be in any setting of your life. It doesn't have to be just family, okay? So with that, we have 3 card choices that I put at the beginning of the video. If you chose card number 1, this is from the Animal Medicine deck, and I haven't looked at any of the cards yet. This is number 32, Ant. So I'm going to look these up because I don't have all these memorized when it comes to the animal medicine. And we'll see what comes through. I'm going to read you a little bit, and then I'm going to get an intuitive hit on that for you, given that we're talking about Cancer 18 here. So the ant energy is about patience, okay? Okay, if ant meandered into your spread today, it is time to show a little trust and patience in some life situation. You may have forgotten that you will always receive that which you need at the time you need it most. If not on the horizon or just around the next anthill, you may need to use some strategy. How can you put to use the power of creation until it arrives, whatever it means to you at this time? Ant is working for the good of the whole. Are you? If you are, be assured that the whole wants the same goodness for you, and that it will be provided. So this speaks to that sense of nourishment. And earlier this week, I was actually tuning in with this symbol because, as I mentioned, it's a part of my astrological chart. And I found that the hen, I was putting myself as the hen of scratching up nourishment for others. But the hen, I realized, is your greater source, is that higher self, or what I like to call your blue sky self, the part of you that sees every possibility, that hears and knows intimately what your wishes are, but is responding to, your vibration of, honestly, do you really give a shit about this? Or are you more like, oh yeah, I kind of like that, and I want that, and da-da-da, and your energy is like, what I'm seeing is a mirror that it has something that's dropped on it, and it's all these shards, okay? And that's really divided energy. It's not really clear to that big blue sky self part of you as the hen that is always scratching up the nourishment that you in particular really feel will make your life more full. There's a real sense of divided energy that I feel with this. Are you being very clear in what you want, whatever it is? that will offer you a greater sense of nourishment, whatever that may be. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's going back to school or going to school for the first time. Or maybe it's repairing an old relationship, or maybe it's letting go of a relationship. Maybe it's meeting new friends. Maybe it's getting back together with old friends. Who knows what that sense of, I like the word nourishment versus a word like abundance, which a lot of us don't know how to give meaning to that in a way that doesn't necessarily immediately involve money, because that isn't necessarily what all of us find nourishing. So whatever it is, the call of the North Node in the sun meeting in the sky is for you to trust. Please trust. That part of you is working on what you want, but I feel like you really need to focus in on what it is. There's maybe too many things that are going at once, and you need to prioritize. Kind of like the ant, and I think of bees too. They have a particular job, and that is their focus when they start, or they don't really, I don't even know that they have an ending or a beginning to their day, so to speak, but they know what their job is. No matter what time of day it is, they know what they're focused on. And that's the same with whatever it, as the book keeps referencing, that big wish, that big sense of nourishment for me. And this is something that now will begin to become accessible because of the sun being a part of this conversation. It's like you're ready to start talking about it. You're ready to start telling people as if it's already happened. It's a done deal, okay? And so you need to focus in and really prioritize what is that. What is it that will nourish me most? Because I feel like you have a lot of big wishes, or as Abraham Hicks calls it, rockets of desire that you have set off, which is appropriate here for 4th of July weekend. You put a lot of wishes out there, but I almost feel this sense of like, hold on, it's time to get industrious and be, again, the message is patience, but I feel like it's also like honing in your vision and to get what is the feeling of what you want. Because this is North Node and Sun in Cancer. What is the underlying feeling of what you want more than anything else that then nourishes the rest of your life? You don't have to have all those shards. You don't have to have these various wishes put out there, particularly if they're wishes for things or even money. It's the feeling underneath that you're looking for, okay? So spend some time this week kind of contemplating that and what that sense of nourishment is for you. The second card, if you picked this is the Angel Tarot deck. And you have a major arcana card, number 14, and this is Balance. Archangel Zadkiel. And this says, the need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise, waiting for the perfect timing. This is very much like the ant card, in that the ant, the first card, was patience. And this is now the same type of message with balance. It's about that there is a sense of perfect timing. There is time when it's meant to come into being. I really feel, again, we got North Node and Sun coming together. Very powerful. Something on your path is going to be revealed this week that brings you not only a sense of more nourishment, but a sense of greater balance, in that you can trust that what you're given will show up in the perfect time. Okay, and that it's going to bring, you're going to be able to move your energy with whatever this change is, because that's the other thing I didn't mention. We're in the eclipse window. It's like a doorway right now. We had the first eclipse which was a solar eclipse with the new moon on July 2nd, and we will have a full moon lunar eclipse happening on the 16th. So we're right sandwiched in between these two. This is a time of big, big change. Anything in eclipse time, something big is shifting. So for you, I feel there could be a sense of, for some of you, I'm getting a strong pull towards health and nutrition, in wanting to bring this sense of moderating, and for some of you who are super strict with your nutrition, I feel this, because I'm seeing a balloon, and for some people, the balloon is expanding and you're expanding out into other parts of nutrition. Perhaps you are adding in a little bit of sugar, or perhaps you are starting to have fish or chicken when maybe you haven't had that before, and you're getting it from reputable sources where it's grown responsibly. Or for others, it could be that the balloon is going down, where you're wanting to moderate, to bring things more into a more finite structure, where there isn't all of this, because I got this with the first card choice too. I really feel like there's been just this big, many shards of energy put out there. And this is consistent with what's going on with the planet right now. We have kind of this chaos energy. There's a lot happening. There's energy swirling up right now. And this could be calling for more of a grounded approach with something like nutrition. I'm bringing that up as an example. Exercise would be another example, possibly. But in any case, the whole point of whatever this is to bring a greater balance. And this is for underneath, because again, we have a hen scratching the ground to find nourishment for her progeny. That's our symbol for this week. This is about finding that greater nourishment for yourself. And what I'm tuning into is this more steady energy pattern that does not have as many peaks and valleys, because that's going to help you to get clearer on what are my next steps forward. What is this next part of my path? Things become clearer as we come into greater balance. And by design, we have times of our life that are out of balance, and those are valuable too, where things kind of go off the rails. I was just speaking with somebody about that this morning. So they go off the rails, and those are times where we can really benefit from kind of the balloon comes down and things become more in our realm of control, so to speak, so that we can kind of moderate as we need to. For instance, with nutrition, sometimes you might, be really hungry to have a really big lunch, but maybe a very minimal dinner, or vice versa. Or you choose, okay, I'm going to have breakfast and then I'm going to have dinner, or I'm just going to kind of graze throughout the day and have lots of really tiny little bites of things. Everybody does stuff differently, no matter what the subject is. There is no one right way, ever. And so I just feel like whatever it is for you, please just don't follow anybody else's rules on this. Remember, this meetup of the North Node and the Sun is happening in Cancer. Tap into something that is deeper and is extremely personal, and you intuitively know, I just need to do this. Don't follow anybody else's rules on this, okay? But bringing it into balance. And for some of you, I want to note, sometimes that balance is that you need to go broader. Sometimes you've been so locked down that you need to broaden out your choices a little bit more, okay? All right, the third card here is from The Secrets from the Mystic Grove. Okay, I love this deck. And I've been getting this a lot. Awakening, isn't that beautiful? The artwork is gorgeous. So, number one card, number one, new beginnings. And it says attraction, beginning, newness, communing. And you see all this potential. What I love about this, the art in this deck overall, is that everything pretty much is up in the head with the artwork. And it speaks to me of changing patterns of your thinking, okay? And there's every potential here for what could blossom for you, and all the birds that are there as well is how spirit can talk with you. And again, our symbol is a hen scratching the ground to find nourishment for her progeny. And sun and north node of the moon are meeting up here. Your pathway ahead, something coming into being this week that leads you on that path ahead. But you have to tap into your deeper intuitive knowing. I feel like the new awareness for you, this sense of awakening, is realizing that you can't trust everything that you see on the surface. I'm going to just say that for you. There is so much more. Just like when somebody says something, you might have an instant reaction, but you don't know all the stuff going on in their head. And it's the same, of course, for you. So it's when you're with people and you're making some decisions or considering options for your life, and perhaps there's some changes that you want to make, again, in service to a greater sense of overall nourishment for my soul. What really, really feels good to me. And knowing that that changes over a lifetime. You might be in the middle of a really big change because we are in eclipse period here. We're in between the two eclipses. So something is changing, and for some of you it could be a big change. But just don't accept what you immediately see on the surface. Know that there is really kind of magical, honestly, energies at work based on how you are feeling about whatever this change may be. There is supportive energy working for you, especially the stronger you affix to that vision of that grand nourishment that you are seeking in whatever part of your life. That is supporting you, and that's these birds. That's the energy of spirit, okay? But there's also other blossoming, all these flowers, there's other blossoming ideas. Like, think about it. When you get started on, I really want to look into this, okay? I want to go after this. And then that spurs another idea, and then you meet that person and they tell you about this, and you hear about that course, or you get that book, or you see that video. It's just like, this is a combination of the birds and the power of thought. It is spirit literally like pulling these people and resources into your pathway to help you, but also the beauty of the amazing brain that we have and our experience on this planet, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, right. I remember I saw a video about that like 4 months ago or 5 years ago or whatever it is. And you are always helping other people in that regard, and you're helping yourself. You're putting together these pieces finally. And I feel there's something to that. Some like missing piece comes into the puzzle, and it's like, gink. All of a sudden you start to see the picture that is forming. But it's being awake enough to just not settle for status quo, and don't settle for what you see on the surface. Like, if for some reason you were going for a new job and you didn't get the job, don't settle for like, oh, I'm not good enough. Recognize that either the timing is just not there, or always I feel this is the case. There really is something different that you're meant to go towards. That's where you're headed. Okay, so there's the big awakening potential. And I really want to bring particular emphasis to this word communing. Pay attention to the people you meet this week, the people that you feel this calling within you to reach out to someone. That's important because there is something there that is going to help you along your path as well. Okay? Keeping this one short and sweet this week. Thank you for your patience while I've been off from YouTube for a bit, and I'll try to get back in a bit of a schedule. We'll see how that goes. And I hope this is helpful to you. It's a very powerful week with the Sun and the North Node together. Your path is something new on your path is revealing itself, but in a way that you are ready to embody it. You're ready to talk about it and to exude it as part of who you are. All right? Have a great week. Bye-bye for now.